The sun had only just begun to rise over the winding river when Thomas, an early rising hiker and nature photographer, set out for his usual morning walk. With camera in hand and boots crunching softly against the forest trail, he welcomed the quiet, broken only by birdsong and the gentle murmur of water nearby. As he neared a bend in the river, an unusual sound caught his attention, splashing, desperate and erratic. Thomas froze, eyes scanning the rippling water. There, caught in a slow but strong current, was a small bobcat. It was struggling, its front paws flailing against the current, its golden fur soaked and heavy. The animal's head barely stayed above water, its movements growing weaker by the second. Instinct overrode hesitation. Without a second thought, Thomas dropped his backpack, kicked off his boots, and stepped into the river. The water was cold, the rocks beneath slippery, but he pushed forward. The current tugged at him, but he kept his eyes locked on the bobcat, now nearly motionless. As he reached the animal, Thomas could see the fear in its wide eyes, fear not just from the river, but also from the human approaching. Bobcats were wild, fierce creatures, even small ones. But this one was at the edge of its strength, and when Thomas gently looped his arm under its chest, it didn't resist. With slow, careful steps, Thomas made his way back to the shore. The bobcat didn't move, only trembled, its breaths shallow and rapid. Once on dry land, he wrapped the animal in his jacket and laid it on the sun-warmed rocks. He kept a safe distance but stayed close enough to offer warmth and protection. Minutes passed. The bobcat coughed weakly, water dribbling from its mouth. Then, with great effort, it lifted its head. The two locked eyes, not as predator and prey, not as man and beast, but as two lives that had crossed paths in a moment of silent need. Thomas didn't attempt to pet or soothe the animal. He knew better. Nature demanded space and respect, but he waited. He watched over the bobcat until the trembling ceased and it began to stir with greater awareness. Eventually, the bobcat stood unsteady, damp but alive. It turned once more to look at Thomas, eyes calm now, blinking slowly in the morning light. Then, without a sound, it slipped back into the trees, leaving only faint paw prints behind. Thomas stood for a long time at the river's edge, soaked and shivering but oddly at peace. In that quiet moment, he understood something rare. Mercy wasn't about taming the wild. It was about meeting it with compassion when it needed it most. And from that day on, whenever Thomas walked that river trail, he would sometimes find fresh tracks, not human, but feline near the water's edge, as if the bobcat too remembered.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please comment 1. And if you didn't, just hit like. See you in the next videos.